how it feels to confess. Yeah, I'm about to level up and burn the stress. Sleep, sleep, I cannot sleep. All this paranoia always tripping over me. Yeah, sleep, sleep, I cannot sleep.
What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be unscripted. I'm going to just talk to the camera and I have my books here with me. If you guys are here, you guys are probably looking at the title. Now the title is going to be somewhere along the lines of how to get a good deal on a brand new Subaru WRX. Now guys, if you guys are new, or if you guys are current, you guys are already aware that a month ago I purchased my dream car, my 2018 Subaru WRX behind me. It took me 3 long years and patiently sitting there and waiting to finally get my car, and I got it, and it is everything that I've been wanting, and I am happy. I am so grateful for this channel to grow, and I'm so grateful to have my car, and I'm very grateful to have you guys here to watch me spiel about my car. Now guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the tactics of what I went through, what I did in order for me to get a really good deal on my car. And that is what I'm going to share with you guys. This video is going to be uncut. So starting off guys, this is a 2018 WR Blue WRX. This is a base model with a few little bells and whistles. Now guys, base model MSRP for the WRX sits somewhere around $26,000 to $27,000 plus tax. My car here, I have my paper here with me, the MSRP was $29,137. Now that is because it included what is called the standard option number 1. It had an STI short throw shifter, it had the mirror compass with home link, it had the center armrest, it had the LED map and dome lights, the bumper clear bra in the back, and it has a clear tray, cargo tray, and the all-weather floor mats. Those are all the little extra stuff that was included onto this car. Now this car was MSRP'd at $29,000-ish plus tax. So if I had bought this outright with the current asking price, I would have been sitting somewhere at $32,000, which is crazy. But guys, I got this car for $28,000 out the door. Now, how did I do that? Patience, guys, patience. So when you guys are looking into buying a brand new vehicle, don't show your excitement. So I'm gonna get right into it. I wrote a list down and I'm gonna be talking with you guys about it. So first things first, guys, budget. So ask yourself, can I afford this vehicle? When I was looking at my dream car here, I was budgeting for $30,000, and my target price, I knew the car's value and everything. This car is actually, the invoice price is $25,500. So that was my target that I had in mind. So I was budgeting for $25,500 plus taxes here in California, DMV costs, and all the other little fees, and it was going to come up to about $28,500. And I was like, man, that is still too steep. So I told myself, you know what? The dealership, they can always work with you. If they really want your sale, they'll work with you. So I chose $27,000 out the door as my target price. And so for me, in order for me to be able to afford my car, because my budget, my budget was too low. Like I didn't have enough money to use as a down payment onto this vehicle. So in order for me to be able to afford this car, the out the door cost needed to be a lot lower, and it needed to come down to my level. So when I shot out emails to the dealerships all around Sacramento, I was like, hey, look, I'm in the market for a 2018 Subaru WRX. What do you have? What specials and what deals do you guys have going on? Key rule, guys, never step foot onto the dealership floor. What you do is you email them or you call them. Don't ever step foot until you've agreed upon an out-the-door price. So I looked at my budget and I was like, if I can get that car to $27,000 out the door, I'll be able to afford the car. Like I won't struggle, right? And after figuring out my budget, after saving for 3 long years, I was finally able to afford my car. Now guys, if you guys can't afford the car, I strongly recommend to wait and be patient like I did. I know, I get it. It sucks to wait and wait and wait, but I did it. 3 long years, guys. 3 long years. So be patient and you will be rewarded. You're going to develop your equity, you're going to be able to save a lot more, and you could potentially use that as a down payment and use it as leverage to your brand new car. There's always going to be brand new cars. Next is researching. I researched and I found out that this car was at $25,500 for the invoice price, and that was my target goal. So I kept going around and it's saying, hey, look, I'm looking, my budget is $27,000, and the dealership kept asking me to go in. They're like, hey, you should come in and test drive. I'm like, no, I'm good. I know what the car is capable of. I know how it handles. What I'm looking for is a good deal. If you're able to get down to my level, to what my asking price is, we will be able to talk. Now, I did that on and off for quite some time, for about 8 months. And, you know, it took me some time until they finally, you know, realized that I was being serious. Like, they thought I was just trying to, you know, pull their leg, but I was being very serious. I'm like, look, if you can get down to my level, I'll be able to work with you, and we could get a transaction going. And that leads me to number 3, guys, is your approach. Like, how you approach the dealership is how they're going to treat you. You know, you got to understand they got to eat, all right? And I understand that they're sharks, they got quotas to meet. It's not really the sales guys on the floor, it's the management and the people up top. They're the ones who's putting a lot of crap onto these guys, and they got to eat, so they got to meet their quota. And so your approach and timing is crucial. So the reason why it took me 8 long months is because I purposely timed the specific time of the month in order for me to go and check out the cars. So I went at the end of the month when they needed to meet their quota, and I went on a Monday or a Tuesday. Or I reached out to them on Mondays and Tuesdays. I stepped foot a few times. It was my fault. It was a bad idea because at the time I wasn't ready to commit to it yet. They're going to pressure you. The reason why you don't go to the dealership and be on the floor is because they're going to pressure you. They're going to, if you have a trade-in, don't tell them anything about what you're going to do, like how you're going to pay for the car. Because if you mention that you want to trade in your vehicle, what they're going to do is they're going to take your car keys and they're going to hold on to it, and they're going to make you wait there. So you're stuck at the dealership, and they're going to try to provoke and tempt you to buy the car at whatever outrageous price that they want. So it's not a pleasant feeling. Don't do that. Always use your form of communication as email and phone calls. So call out to them and say, hey, look, I see that you have this car in stock, and I know that this car has been sitting on your lot for like 3-4 months. Hey, I'm in the market to buy this car, and let's work out a deal. And so I said $27,000, and everyone was like, you're smoking crack. Like, oh my gosh, that is so high. It'll be so low. I can't do that. We're losing money. Like, they used every excuse in the book. So I kept doing that again and again and again. And then eventually there was a dealership out in Shingle Springs, which is about 40 minutes away, 30 miles away, up in the mountains. And they were like, yo, we'll hook you up. So I can't do $27,000 out the door, but I could do $28,000. And I was like, shoot, that's the closest I've ever gotten to my target price. I'm like, you know what, all right, cool. Send the bill of sales over. So which is pretty much the receipt, like they're the quote. I was like, if you can email it to me, I'd like to review it first before I fully commit to the purchase, right? And so what they did was they emailed it to me, and then I used that as leverage. Now I have something in my hand to show proof that, hey, I got this price for this particular model. It was a bare bones base model 2018 WRX in blue, right? I wanted that particular color. Then I shot it all out to Elk Grove Subaru, to Maida Subaru, to Roseville, and even to Fairfield Subaru. And I was like, yo, this is the car I'm looking for. Shingle Springs is a little far out there. If you guys have one, I mean, in this color, and if you guys are willing to work with me, are you guys able to beat the price? Because I would actually prefer to come to someone who is more local than to drive all the way out there. And then Elk Grove Subaru reached out to me, and they're like, look, I get what you're trying to do, and if we can match that, can we commit you to a purchase? And so it all depends on you. You could, you know, essentially just walk out if you really don't want to commit to the purchase, and you can kind of just play the game. But Elk Grove Subaru reached out to me, and they're like, look, Tom, I know we've been in contact for quite some time, and I know you really want this car. I know you're an expert at it, so I'm not even going to haggle and you know, try to upsell you. So this is my offer. I'm going to sell you. We have a 2018 Subaru WRX in stock. However, it is a base model, but not the bare bones base model that Shingle Springs Subaru is offering you. They are willing to sell that car to you for $28K out the door. We'll match it. Okay, we can't go any lower, but we'll match it. And the reason why we're gonna match it is because we know that you're a Subaru ambassador, and we're local, and you know, you're a good customer. We value your satisfaction. And so and also we're local, so, and then they also listed me the price, they also listed me all of the bells and whistles associated with it, and I was like, hey, send over the bill of sales and I'll look over it, and if everything looks right and checks out, and then you guys have me as a client, you guys have me as a customer. So they sent it over and they're like, look, this is what we can do. We can match the same price, but we include all of these little bells and whistles. So I looked at it and I was like, 30 minutes up to Shingle Springs, and when I drive the car back home, I'm going to add on like 30-40 miles, or I can go locally to my Elk Grove Subaru dealership, which is only 10 minutes away, and I'll be able to get the same price, and I'll just be able to drive it home, and I have all the bells and whistles associated with it. So I'm like, all right, deal. And so I called up my sales rep and I was like, I will take it. You have my commitment. Can you hold the car for me? And so I went. And so that Friday, I prepared. I went to my bank and I got my check for my down payment, and I went over and I confirmed. I was like, okay, so am I going to get my car for $28K out the door? And they're like, yes. And so went through the test drive, and after that went through the paperwork and everything, and we got down to the finances, and then it leads to this portion, which is the part that people get scared a lot, is speaking of finances and stuff. So guys, everyone's finances are different, so you're going to ask yourself, like, can I, like I said, back to the budget question, can I afford this car? So the one thing about the Subaru WRX is that the APR interest rate is 2.9% all across the board. So it doesn't matter what duration of loan that you take, right, for your car loan, the percentage is always going to be the same. So I actually have really good credit, but I tried doing personal financing through my bank and everything like that, but they couldn't beat it. All of their rates were like 4 or 5%, and the best percentage I could get, APR percentage I could get, was an in-house financing through Subaru for this car. That was their special, right? So I was like, you know what, screw it. It's 2.9% all across the board, so I might as well do the 60-month term loan. And so what I did was I got it for $28K out the door, and I dropped $6,500. And so that brought me down to, what is it, $21,500? And then I financed it for a 60-month term. And now, what is it? Really quick. So $21,500 divided by 60 months, which is $360 essentially. $360 is $358, and then plus a 2.9 APR percentage. Like $360 is really good. And I'm not going to go into the details of APR and stuff like that here in this video, but 360-ish, 65, whatever, give or take, that's really good. Now you guys are also going to have to consider your insurance. Like, this car is very expensive to insure. I used my girlfriend as leverage to lower my insurance premium. So my insurance payments at the time now actually is only $94. So it kind of went up because I made some tweaks to my insurance plan. So now I actually pay $104. So $358 plus $104. My monthly payment for my vehicle is $462 roughly, give or take, right? So it is within it is under $500, and now I am able to afford my vehicle. Now that is after 8 months of researching this car. I was able to get to that price point. Now regarding the APR stuff, I have my budgeting and everything in place. So what's going to happen is I'm going to make the minimum monthly payments every year. So what I'm going to do is, like, every 3-4 months I do consecutive minimum payments, and then like the 4th or 5th month I'm going to drop like a larger down payment, like $800-900, maybe $1,000, to drop drastically my loan. That way the APR will kind of even it itself out, right? So like I said, I don't really know much about APR and interest rates and stuff like that, but if you have bad credit, try to see if you could get like a co-signer or someone like that, because the thing with car buying is they get you on insurance. Like, they get you on insurance, and they also get you on your APR. So if you have really good credit like me, you have leverage. You can negotiate with them, like, hey, look, I don't like your terms and stuff like that. Hey, we're gonna work on my terms. But if you have bad credit, you're gonna have to work with their terms. So in the end, you could always walk out. If you have bad credit and you really want the car but it's too expensive, don't do it. I don't recommend it. So that pretty much wraps up my monthly payment. I make a less than $500 monthly payment on my Subaru WRX. So I'm able to actually afford my car now. And like I said, I'm very, very happy. I'm very, very appreciative of having it. And it took me a long time to be able to get to this point. Like, it took me a lot of trial and error. And that's what I want to share with you guys. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is relationship, guys. So don't be a prick when you approach the dealership. Be cordial. Just like, don't be like, hey, also don't use me as an example. Like, hey, look, Tom got a good deal. How come I can't get a good deal? Like, don't do that, guys, please. I strongly discourage you from doing that. I just want to share with you guys my story and my experience, and in hopes that you guys can learn from me and you employ the same tactics. Like, be very cordial. Approach them and treat them like a human being. Like, hey, look, I get that you got to eat. I understand that you got a quota to meet, but this is my price point. This is my budget for this particular vehicle. Like, be an expert at the car that you want, research it, and know the ins and outs of it. And so when you do go, when they try to upsell you, you're like, hey, you know what? I appreciate that you want to include all of these add-ons, all of these bells and whistles, but I'm not really looking for that. I actually just want the base model. I want this car in this particular color. If you don't have that car in that color, I'm sorry, that's not really what I'm looking for. Like, be very cordial and thank them. Always thank them. Like, hey, I want to thank you for your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to help me. And they'll remember that. Sorry, camera cut off for a second. But back to what I was saying, guys, be cordial and be friendly with the dealership. They're human beings too. Like, they gotta eat, Be nice to them and thank them. Like, thank them for the time. Say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be able to assist me on this. Like, hey, even though we didn't come to an agreement, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for helping me with this. Hopefully I could call on you again in the next month or so for another deal. Hopefully by then you'll have a new, car on the lot. You'll be able to give me a call. You have my information, stuff like that. So they're not going to let you walk out the door. You be cordial and be nice to them, and then they'll work with you. They're like, hey, look, I need to meet my quota. Here's what I'm going to be able to do. All right, I'll change my mind. So in a nutshell, guys, wrapping up everything, be cordial, be nice, do your research, know your budget, approach and timing, be effective at that. Don't step foot onto the dealership floor until you can finalize that price and get that on paper. So when you do show up, you're like, hey, look, I want this WRX for $28K out the door. They're like, no, you're smoking crack. Well, I spoke with John Johnson and I have proof here. He's willing to acknowledge this deal. And so they can't back out of that. And so finishing off this video, guys, be cordial and be nice to the dealership, and also ask them about the Subaru Ambassadorship program. You have enthusiasts like me who live locally, who just love Subaru and talk about Subaru, and we're going to be able to help you. So if you're not really good at negotiating prices, if you need help, here in Sacramento, shoot me an email. My email is located, somewhere down below on this email, on my YouTube channel and on this video. Shoot me an email if you guys are in the market for buying a brand new Subaru, and I will meet with you directly. We could have coffee and I could explain to you in detail on how to go about things. Subaru ambassadors are here to help, and that's our job. That's the reason why we're the top of the line enthusiasts among the enthusiasts, is because we truly love Subaru, and our job is to make sure that you drive home with a brand new Subaru. And in essence, we want everyone to have a Subaru. So yeah, guys, this pretty much wraps up my video. I hope it sheds some light for you guys, and I hope it helps you on your way in terms of buying a brand new car, buying a used car, and buying any type of car that you want, like especially your dream car. I want everyone to have their dream car someday, and I want to share that excitement with you guys. I want you guys to share that excitement with me too. I would love to see a video caption, "Tom, I bought my car," and tag me on it, and I want to see your reaction. Like, that makes my day. So yeah, guys, $29,000 plus tax for this Subaru WRX, but I was able to haggle and get it for $28K out the door, and I was able to finance it properly. So yeah, guys, hope you guys like this video. Please give it a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe!